came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. Amenhotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate ones. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, I cannot in cotton shopping. Aquaponic, chronic options. Badanaz and pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten. Knowledge of my art forgotten. Watch the conscious sovereign doctrine. Not dishonest prophet goblins. Boxing out the box, I'm boxed in. Black magic, black yoni, black phallus. How they turn kings and queens to crack addicts. How they make us lose our sight like bad glasses. They know we invented original mathematics. Black magic, treat home like at Sabbath. I can hear beautiful music and bad static. I attract cash in bags like that's Magnus. Last maverick, blast fast like Zab Jab. Black magic, black yoni.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. This is your host, Brother Rich. Got a great show for y'all today. This show, I got the Brother Red Pill, and the Brother Red Pill actually with Supernova, Slum, and Blue Pill made a video on the mismanagement of male power and healing the shadow self. It got a real good response. It was a honest talk. It was a mature talk. And it was, the brothers just trying to figure things out. Because obviously we see something ain't going on, that's right. So it was a mature talk. I threw it on my Patreon for the people out there supporting me. And I got some interesting responses, man. One response in particular I got from the sister that's on the line tonight. I'm going to allow her to remain anonymous. But I want to read her message and engage in a dialogue with the sister in Red Pill for us to just go take it a step further in understanding what it is we are actually doing to each other that is wrong, that we may not even be aware of. And when I say us, I mean the black man and the black woman. So I want to start out by reading. Sis, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Red, you there, right?
Yes, I'm in the building. Peace.
All right, yeah, so I'm going to start out. Let me read the family this message, and then we'll go on to the conversation. Peace. I'm reaching out to you, brothers, because a lot of times I can't quite put a finger on my own psychosis and listen to you all and a few others to help me understand my own thinking. The following video really had me thinking. The mismanagement of male power and healing the shadow self. What I want to speak on is the part of the video when Red Pill spoke on 70% of black women watching gay porn. I am shamefully a part of the 70%. I never took the time to ask myself why I would even want to watch this until today. Once I asked myself that question, I thought of my routine. When I do engage in this behavior, I usually search for the most seemingly alpha males, watch it, and when I'm done, I usually feel disgusted and unclean. Honestly, it's been times when my fantasy ended in these brothers, especially the one in submission, being beaten. So I asked myself, why do I watch this porn instead of heterosexual porn? That answer was simple. The women in heterosexual porn are always being punished. Every inch and hole in their bodies are being ravished. I have no desire to be the woman on that screen. It's so typical. The men are only there for their own gratification. So I'm guessing on a certain level, the homosexual porn allows me to be neutral and enjoy it. Although I'm not the one dominating a man, I'm not the one in submission either. Not saying this behavior is acceptable, just trying to figure this out for myself. Then it made me think about when Brother Rick spoke on an article in The Root about black men being the white supremacists of black society. I heard about it, but never took the time to read it because it reeked of black feminist BS. On some real-ish, though, brothers mentally and physically terrorize black women every day. Our hearts, minds, and bodies get exploited by black men all the time. We naturally take on black men's thoughts and have become female misogynists. We hate ourselves. We call each other derogatory names that men call us. we, black women, treat each other how black men treat us. So in essence, the black woman is to the black man what black people are to these Europeans. Young brothers will see a young sister emotionally screwed, press her out, play with her mind, break her down, then exploit her for sex, then call her a hoe. If that ain't a trap, I don't know what it is. Brothers put sisters in effed up situations every day and expect us to act and be honorable when them being dishonorable got us in a situation to begin with. That sounds familiar, right? With all that being said, I also wonder if the animosity sisters have toward brothers has us watching bucks being broken in. So, I mean, real interesting, honest message. And instead of dismissing it as, a feminist message or as a message from a sister who got hurt by a brother, I understand that we all been hurt to a certain extent. We all got our shields up when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex. But it's going to get to a point where we gotta figure something out. So I want to start out with the sister who wrote this message. I mean, it's almost like I see you don't want to be lumped in the feminist category, but you kind of indirectly agree with the article from the Root about black men being, whatever the white supremacists of the black race. I don't, that's kind of broad. I don't want to say you agree with that wholeheartedly, but you kind of notice something is wrong with you walking out in the street every day and being approached or being harassed or being whistled at or whatever the case may be. And I'm a dude, sis. I'm not closed-minded. I'm a dude that's been in a relationship for 12 years. And I hear the stories from my girl, going outside, when she come home and she has the stories to tell me and things I never thought about when I was single. So I'm not going to dismiss it and just say women are, y'all completely bugging out. We're the hunters we're supposed to, because it gets to a point with women where, it's kind of taxing on them by the time they come home. I mean, you look good. You walk down the street in New York City, you a sister. I mean, you come home, you might have got hollered at by 40 dudes in that one day. 5 dudes a block. You walk down, what's that, 20 blocks or something like that. Them long Harlem avenues. So the numbers start to add up by the end of the day if you're going shopping or whatever. So, unless you've been through it, we kind of can't relate to it. So, Red, man, what you think about what the sister is saying? Let's start like that, man. Are you dismissing it? Do you agree with it? I mean, you're the one who started the conversation with the gay porn thing. Talk to me, Red Pill, and talk to the sister more than me.
Well, first of all, I want to say peace, love, and light to the sister. I want to thank her wholeheartedly for engaging in the conversation. The purpose of the overall conversation was to be engaging. At the end of the video, I specifically said, I'm speaking to our people's shadow self, because that part of ourselves it's not spoken to often because it's considered taboo. Now, by me being transparent and approaching the situation where I'm not trying to be judgmental, I'm just basically pointing out my observation or my research. For her to respond like that and for her to be transparent, she didn't hold back in regards to expressing herself and sharing some of her innermost secrets. Right? Because it takes courage, and it takes, got to be real open to, you got to be comfortable to be like, yo, I watch dudes getting it in, you know what I'm saying, with each other. Like, I'm into that, and I do other things. So I'm just glad that we're here in order to forward the narrative and to continue this thread or this conversation, because it is taboo. To my understanding, it's not something that's being had inside of lunchrooms, boardrooms, water coolers. I don't even know if gay men and heterosexual women or bisexual women are having these conversations, because I'm not in that room. But I don't see it on social media. So this is very interesting to me. You know, we're in a Scorpion season, so all gloves are off. You know, this is an adult conversation. It will be in the mature section. So we can relax a little bit and just be open. So I'm definitely willing, but I'm not willing to throw her in any category. You know, I'm willing to hear more from her, and to gauge where she's coming from and let her identify it, and then we can take it from there.
So, sisters, is there anything you want to add on to your point, or what do you want us to, for you to, say what you said? What is one of the main things you would love for a brother like me and Red Pill to know about females, and just things you might see us on our platform where we may do that you may disagree with? What would you like us to know personally, sis, coming from your experience?
Honestly, from my experience of just watching you all, I think there's a lot of gratitude to you all from the women that watch you. I personally, I don't watch and ever say to myself, I don't like what he said, or I don't agree with that, because I think it comes from a male perspective, and I have to first respect that and know that I'm not going to be able to understand every male perspective simply, because I'm a woman. So, I mean, as far as what you guys are doing, I don't see anything being done wrong. I think you're very fair about it. I think you're as open about it as you can be as men, you know what I mean? I really don't see you guys doing anything wrong, or I never watch and say, well, they didn't speak about this, or they didn't speak about that. I think that you speak on behalf of men and women equally.
Mm-hmm. What give me an example of when you say brothers mentally and physically terrorize black women every day. Some brothers might think that's a little extreme. Give us an example of what you mean by that, so we could understand. Well, how the hell we don't terrorize y'all? We in a system of white supremacy. What do you mean by that, sister? How do we do that?
So when I say that, you know what I mean, I'm definitely not lumping all brothers together. Seeing as though, you guys are not the brothers I would be talking about in this. But I mean, be it in conversation, on Facebook, just out here, walking around in the streets, and you see brothers will, mentally play with a woman to have a place to live, drive her to work, then drive her car around and deal with another woman. Not take care of his kids. If he do get a little money, he gonna go out, buy his own outfit or whatever, and play on a woman's mind, because we are on a certain level. I think women are definitely weak to men and want to hold men down, and I think many times that's abused. But also I have to say it's abused by a certain type of brother. It's not abused by every black man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I see, I might sit around a group of guys and just listen to them talk. And I mean, I've seen some wild stuff, where a brother can have a woman, children, then he have another woman, he go to jail, he calling his friend on, call her on three-way, and it'd be like he's taking advantage of all these women. And he's taking advantage of their emotional attachment, and, he's taking advantage of them wanting to be there for him. And he knows he is. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying women don't do this to men. We're just, brothers right now. But when I say that, it's not a broad statement. It is a specific type of man who takes advantage of women. Who, it's income tax time about to come up, who know you're going to get with that big girl. Somebody. Like, let's just keep it for real, Or when this girl is going to school, she's going to get that loan money, and you're going to want a little bit to try to flip it. These are games that, while women are out in the world working, a certain type of man is sitting at home plotting on women's minds all day. Because he ain't out there.
Well, that I don't mean to cut your vision, but that would lead to the next question. And the next question will basically deal with integrity. The next question will deal with character. And the next question will deal with, in our society, as black, our generation per se, the post-civil rights generation, I would call it, the 70s babies and onward. Do you agree that culture-wise, right, not with mama, not with nana, or, people inside of the household, not the rules and the laws and the value system that they instilled, I'm more so speaking about society, social engineering, culture. Has our culture allowed black women to accept the type of men into their homes, into their lives, into their privacy, into their wombs, into their bank accounts, into their credit lines, who have questionable characters, poor integrity, based off of what it is that they're out in the streets doing? And I'm sure and I'm aware that women are fully aware, maybe not to the extent, but, being that we live in this time where the consumption of the Wire series, all of these depictions of what's going on in the streets, the movies, the music that's inundated with drug culture, street culture, gang culture, and then you have women who claim they have these 9-to-5s, or they're considered law-abiding citizens, but they have relationships with people who are questionable characters, and then when those characters or the character traits that are flawed based off of, them being compromised because of what it is that they're doing or the way of life that they're living, then they act surprised, or then they want to indict. Mm-hmm. But it's like, where was the indictment when this man was out here destroying his or their neighborhoods, contributing to pushing poison and, maybe even out there, killing people? Because I know a few sisters that are turned on by the shooters, and the killers. Mm-hmm. They look for them actively. They pursue them and throw themselves at them. You know what I mean? They offer themselves up to people of a certain social status. And because of the culture, like I said, because we're the hip-hop generation and because we know what the culture dictates, we know that there's a hierarchy and a status inside of the culture, and certain people of a certain kind of character or a certain kind of integrity sit real high on that hierarchy, and women are attracted to them. So where does the responsibility come in at that point? When is it time to start pointing fingers at these men and saying, oh, these niggas ain't shit, you know what I mean? Oh, he ran off, he fucked up my credit. So I'm like, God damn, before he fucked up your credit, he sold drugs to a nigga mama, and he shot Ray Ray over there in the face, you know what I'm talking about? And he topped your homegirl, China, you know what I'm saying? And we had the little stash and shit. And the baby, he put a sock in the baby's mouth, and he told you about these things when he came home in confidentiality. He wasn't a piece of shit then.
Right.
So, you talk to me about that.
I definitely think that there is an accountability that black women have. And it's funny, you know what I mean, when men are out there doing those things, it's appealing to women, and then when those same character flaws are directed at the women, it's like, well, I can't believe he would do that to me. As far as you were saying, like the type of men we allow in our homes and what makes us accepted, and has society made us accept it, or not made us accept it, but
condition,
kind of normalized it for us.
Normalize it, yes.
I really think that somehow we've gotten this weird situation where we accept responsibility for our situation, for the home situation, and we think we're going to leave the home. So it's kind of like we're almost letting little boys in our homes, and we want to make excuses for the little boys so they terrorize our house. It's a weird thing. It's almost like, well, he's in this situation, and brothers, they gotta get out here in the streets if they want something, or the white man, and the woman might not necessarily be saying that, but I think somewhere in our subconscious, that's what we're thinking. This is the best he can do. This is the hand he was dealt. So we deal with these people, and then we're surprised when, like you said, they do the same thing to us. But I think that the black man in that state has been so normalized that, like I said, we think we need to just accept that as their nature. But don't do that to me. You know what I mean? That's the back of our head. Do that to them, but don't do that to me. You know? We accept men not being honorable with women. Like most women like the player. We like that.
Right. Yeah.
But when we get them, we don't want you to, don't do that to me. But because it's taught to us as little girls in so many ways that boys aren't to be held accountable. You better not be no hoe, but your brother can stay out all night, because you can't be that, but boys are not to be held accountable. You get good grades, you wash the dishes, he'll take out the trash once a week and run the streets all day, because that's what he can do, but you cannot afford to do that, because it's kind of like nobody's going to protect you, black girl. So I gotta teach you how to take care of yourself early. But him over there, we kind of just let him run amok. So
you're going to learn the hard way.
Right. You know what I mean? I think that there's no accountability with black men from little boys, and girls see that. And then when we grow up, we don't really make them accountable until we're affected by them and their irresponsibility.
Let me ask y'all, we talk about psychology on the show a lot, and like when I talked to you on the phone, sis, you mentioned the word psychology and about, Red Pill breaks things down. Some of the curse words we use when we, when we on the street and we don't like how a nigga act, this bitch-ass nigga, this pussy-ass nigga, this asshole motherfucker or motherfucker. It's always, fuck you. It's always dealing with sexual terms when we want to curse a nigga out. You know what I'm saying? Do you, and sometimes it's, it's sexual terms that apply to the female gender. It could be a pussy, this motherfucking vagina, this nigga's a bitch, this nigga,
he's a hoe.
He's a hoe ass nigga. Not to say that a woman are hoes, but we know historically when that word is used, people usually refer to a woman, so we know,
son of a bitch.
Yeah, son of a bitch. Our president, sons of bitches. You know what I'm saying? So, and we on Patreon. This part is going to be on Patreon, so we good with the cursing by now. But
you're taking full advantage, I see.
But psychologically, this question is for you, Red, and the sister. Why do you think we talk like that when it's time to get dirty and we cursing? Why are we using these sexual terms to curse?
I have no idea.
Red, you can start.
That's a very interesting point that you have made. Very interesting question. The answer to that would be pure speculatory from my point. I would have to really sit with that for a minute and just give it some deep thought. The sense of sexual, remember we do live in this Judeo-Christian culture. The sex is taboo. It is shameful. You know what I mean? The discussion of it, the suppression of it in this culture, keep in mind, we're not in ancient Egypt. We're not in Angkor Wat where women are walking around with their breasts exposed. We're not in the, the Delta or the diaspora. We're in America, North America, in this, in this Greco-Roman Christian Judeo society where they've shamed this is like an arm or a hydra of Roman Catholicism. And, the whole thing of sex is basically shameful. You know what I'm saying? It is definitely shameful. One of the reasons why we see so much perversion, one of the reasons why we see so much misdirected sexual energy, one of the reasons why a woman could not walk down the street, with her breasts exposed, and men not being sexually mature enough to just let it be. I mean, you can't even walk around with a sweater on with your nipples protruding. Like,
you show the nipple dudes is going crazy.
They going bonkers, like, and it speaks to the sexual immaturity that our people unfortunately still have as a result of living in a culture where you're being taught sexuality, sexual education, a healthy way of looking at sex through the lens of nana, mama. More than likely they're in the church, your Jewish-controlled education system, Jewish-controlled media, as we see with all of the scandals that are coming out from Hollywood. This is an old-time tradition. They were traumatizing the quote-unquote stars that people look up to, and the stars that emanate their light on silver screens to our daughters and to you and to me and everybody else. These people have already been broken into. They already been bucked. They already been broken. So the stars are shattered. So to use explicitives like you son of a bitch, you motherfucker, it is it stings. It stings us because of the historic reference to words like that, and just especially with a word like motherfucker. I had an elder come up to me one day when I was out of town doing a lecture, and she asked, matter of fact, I was in New York and they were traveling. It was a group of elders, Golden Girls, and she was like, there's one thing that I would ask you to do, Brother Red, it was to stop saying the word motherfucker, because I'm not too much removed from a culture where that meant the bucks who the slave master would make have sex with his own mother in front of the other slaves, in front of the plantation owners and whatnot. And that was such a derogatory, that was like a curse if somebody said that to you. So these words are meant to hurt. These words are meant to cut deep. There's a perversion of something that is sacred, which is sex. But as we know, we're in a society, it's been perverted. So the words, the actions, and everything, because they've been perverted and they're taboo and whatnot, they're inside of this lexicon of explicitives and things of that nature, and words that are meant to elicit a kind of negative reaction. It's supposed to cut deep. You fuck boy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you fuck nigga. I remember, I'm going to keep it a buck. Like, me and one of my peoples in Florida, that's where that word originated from. This was like 2003. Had a big argument, a humongous fallout. This person was close to me. And he called me a fuck boy. And it felt like a fatality. When they say, like, finish him. Like, real talk. The shit felt, it was like an ether. I had to deal with that. I had to, you know what I mean? Like, I fought back, and I called them all kind of names, but the shit hit hard. So, these words have weight to them. They're tied into some of our taboos. They're tied into some of our sexual dysfunctions and the repressed sexual nature of both man and woman. I won't even say black man and woman at this point. I'm just going to say all men and women, because we all are coming up in this cosmopolitan society of the Americas. It's everybody here. It's a melting pot.
Mm-hmm. And Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to add that when I see brothers, refer to other men as, hoe-ass niggas, pussy-ass niggas, bitch-ass niggas, whatever they do, it's almost like, they're little boys that are really saying, oh, you're acting like a girl, or he's acting like a girl.
Right, right, exactly.
But somehow, a girl, they've taken out the girl and just, girl has become synonymous with whole pussy bitch.
Right, great point.
So,
right.
I don't know how we've gotten to that.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's exactly what you're saying, sis, that as men, the most derogatory thing to say to another man until recently was, you're acting like a girl, you're a girl.
Right.
So the derogatory terms that people refer to women and girls as are hoe, bitch, fuck, you know what I'm saying, and all of these other. So it's just pussy. Pussy. Yeah. So it's denoting weakness. It's denoting dominate. You know what I mean? Going back to the whole aspect of the male principle being dominant in its nature, and the female principle being a receiver. There's a giver. There's a receiver. There's the AC. There's a DC. There's a negative. There's a positive. I don't think with all of the surgeries in the world, they could Caitlyn Jenner the whole goddamn the race. It will not change the dynamic of men being the givers, and that puts you in a place of a dominator or a dominatrix. Henceforth, while you have this fetish or this humongous underground fetish of people with sexually repressed or sexual deviancy, and what do they deal with? Domination. Men who want to be dominated. They want to be dominated. They want to feel like who? They say they put heels on sometimes, garter belts and stuff like that, and they have the women dominate them, switching roles.
Let me
ask you. Hold on. I don't. Now the perversion of that, or the gross perversion of that, or the gross abuse of that, is what we identified as Greco-Roman culture, agape, and things of that nature, pedestry, and all of these sick versions of the perversion. Like I said, the lowest of the lowest nature of that domination, where men are basically fucking, the shit is like a Tyson match, beating up the box. You know what I mean? Like completely destroying it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? White men, spitting on women, foot in the face. All of these things, all the way to the rape culture, all the way to mutilation, all the way to women being raped, serial rapists who are eating people, Jeffrey Dahmer types, but they were also men who were doing that to women as well, to whereas the psychosis reaches such a level to the fact where they are killing women after raping them. Like as you see in war-torn, with soldiers who commit atrocities, war crimes, where they go into these villages and basically decimate the feminine principle through domination, and the men as well. So that's what I was saying.
I want to talk to you. I mean, a couple of things, but since Red just said that, I was talking to a sister the other day, and one of the things we was talking about the culture, and she actually seen the video Red Pill, Supernova, and Bluehead did, and she mentioned to me one thing that black women will never be able to do, considering the fact that black women are constantly competing with white women in culture to be wanted, or or whatever. They don't want all the brothers is going to white girls. So a reaction to that would be the black woman wearing the blonde hair or having more European features so they could be more wanted by their men. But the sister said one of the things that black women have to understand that they could never compete with white women is out nastying the white woman. Sexually, the white woman is willing to do any and everything in the bedroom. And it seems as though black women are trying to keep up with that, with some of the things they're doing now that they weren't doing 20, 30 years ago. That was considered like kind of nasty to do in the bedroom. But it seems as though now black women are trying to compete with the white woman. But the sister told me it's a losing battle. You could piss on her. You could do all types of shit in that bedroom with her. So it's a losing battle for black women that try to be nasty to please their man. What do you think about what that sister said as far as black women trying to compete with the white men to be nasty to please their man sexually in the bedroom?
I really don't know what white women are doing, so I don't know. But I would imagine they are, doing some nasty shit. But what I will say is, once you come into, your true self, you'll stop chasing those lower frequencies, and you won't need to go so far to get gratification. I think that's one of our biggest problems right now. We are at such a low level that we're going further and further and further to get that gratification. There's hardly anybody wants any mental stimulation anymore. Emotions, you can see memes all day. I don't care about this person. This person's dead to me. So what happened in all these relationships, there's no mental stimulation, no emotional connection, nothing building your higher self. So I feel like black women, nobody should be chasing that, because you'll always be trying to go further and further. What you should be chasing is trying to, raise yourself so that you can be stimulated a different way. That is actually greater, and that will enhance regular sex, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're just, if you're just solely based in that physical gratification, then it'll never be enough. It's like, you have the sex with somebody you don't care about. Most people who do that or engage in that, they don't want to drink first. They don't want to smoke, because there's no mental or emotional stimulation there. So they're always trying to do something to make it better.
Mm. What would you? What's one of the main things would you say black women or just women are looking for sexually? Because the perception from a man's point of view is that, yo, I'm about to tear this pussy up, man. I'm about to beat this shit up, yo. I'm about to, oh man, I'm gonna put this bitch to sleep, son. After I finish with this shit, like, what exactly? And we see it played out by a woman going to the so-called thugs, and we know how the thugs get down. So we think that, this is how I'm supposed to thug it out in the bedroom. But women are saying that, no, we don't want you to beat the pussy up. So it's kind of confusing. What are women looking for, would you say? What would you tell the men out there listening to this right now? What would you tell all the brothers on Patreon listening to this right now?
One thing I would say is stop learning from porn. Stop thinking porn is a educational tool. It's not.
Yeah, we all thought that. I thought, yeah, go ahead.
But the second thing, I want to speak solely to brothers, but I think that's the issue. We keep getting away from holding women accountable.
Mm-hmm.
We need to say both women need to begin to listen to the men they're with, their bodies, their wants, and men need to begin to listen to women. And, I think everything goes back to the nature. I think women, we are a little more mental, so men need to try to tap into that. Men, in my experience, seem to be a bit more, physical, in the sense that they want to, drag your ass in the grocery store. And, women, sometimes you need to, if it's not crazy, be a little more open to that. Just I feel like you need to have the hard conversations, even surrounding sex, with whom you're with. Don't just think it's going to fall into place, or you're always going to have this natural high as you did once you met them. And I think men, listen to women. Listen to women's bodies. Women, listen to men. Listen to men's bodies. Don't, if you're just, I'm going to beat it up, then you're really focusing on what you're going to do as far as being proactive. You're not being reactionary to how she might move a certain way or make a certain noise. You're not listening. You're just going in like, this is what I'm going to do. And not even considering what she might do or how she might respond to what you're going to do. But that goes both ways, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Mm. You know, one thing I noticed, whenever I post a video, me and Red talked about this before, whenever I post a video and I got a sister on the video, the dudes in the comments section go crazy. They get disrespectful sometimes. They be like, oh, man, I just busted a nut, or I want to hit that, or red pill, why you standing next to my woman? You read the comments, man, like.
Yeah, they be going in.
Yeah, man, it's like whoever's up there, they act like they've been locked up for 20 years and they just came home and they just seen a woman for the first time. Like, these dudes act crazy when they see a woman on the screen. But my question is it just, you know, we admire a woman's beauty, so that's expected, and we're supposed to be not that extreme, but like that. Is that acceptable? I mean, is that even like, you get what I'm trying to say? Is that something that we need to change? Something as small as that, the way we comment in the comment section.
Yeah,
that leads to bigger things.
Low key creepy, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of, to me, goes back to, like, how you had brought up the catcalling at the beginning of the show.
Right.
Most women, we get dressed up to get complimented. I don't care what women can say, oh, I do this for me. I like to look at me. I don't really buy that, because if a woman get dolled up and she walks down the street, don't nobody say nothing to her, she will feel some type of way.
She tight.
I don't really think it's what you do. I wouldn't have a problem with a compliment in comments, but some things is just creepy. Would you walk up to a girl and say, oh, yeah, I just thought it makes me want to do X, Y, Z? I hope nobody would walk up to a woman and say that. Some things is just better left unsaid. But that goes back to me not understanding the nature of a man, you know, or why they would say that.
Right.
Can I add on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that both men and women factor in the fact that, you know, these younger brothers and I ain't gonna say younger, because it doesn't, age really doesn't matter, because there's people in their 60s, there's old, nasty, you know, men that women often encounter. You know, there's young, nasty niggas, you know what I mean? Like young, like 13, 14-year-old. And then there's everything in between. And because our sex education and our ongoing sex education, because the shit don't stop, you know what I mean? Niggas are still in class on their 6 master's degree on Pornhub. You know what I mean? Like the sexual education is a continuum. It ain't like it was like, I was watching pornography and like, you know, and I was 8 and shit, and that's how I learned how to bone. Like, you're still looking for new plays. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking for new moves and everything. So you're still in class. So the culture, which is the music, which is the movie posters, which is the movies that we go and see, Netflix and chill, you know, the music videos, everything on World Star, everything on the Clear Channel radios, it's all dealing with miseducating men and women what their bodies are asking for. It's all about all facts, if that's what you're saying. If that's what you're saying is, you know, if men and women don't understand each other, I'm like, well, goddamn it, what in society is allowing us to understand each other? Can we find out about our bodies at church? You know what I mean? You know, are they really going in and telling us about, you know, the holy orgasm? No. Is our 9 to 5, you know, at the water cooler? Are they having people coming in, you know, in between lunch and whatnot, telling us, hey, this is Bob from H&R, from Human Resources. I just want to stop in and help everybody, understand how to go home and get an orgasm properly. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's teaching us at work. That's not something that's being discussed in school if we're in grade school all the way up to college. So where the hell are we getting it from? Like, who's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be following somebody on fucking YouTube. You got to be that lucky, or stumble upon a book. Because even in Terry McMillan's books, even in Subway novels, even in all of the books that they sell that the black women, they love, Sapphire and all of these things, what is even the books that we grew up reading, Iceberg Slim, and all of these things, do you know when it comes to sex what they're telling us to do? Those books that women, no, I'm just saying those books that the black love books, it's about busting the nut, beating the pussy up, you know what I'm talking about, and keeping it moving, you know what I mean? I had a thug, he had Timberlands on and, shit like that. So we're not getting it seems if I was a child and all I was educated by was society, BET, the culture, rap music, videos, World Star, the internet, I'm fucked. I don't know how to carry myself in a dignified manner. I'm a sophisticated savage at best. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't know how to. And then don't let me come up in the culture where my first date was at the strip club, because the youth, you know what I mean? Maybe not my generation, because they're all in the strip club now. But you got some people who, from when they were 17, 18 years old, all they've been going out to on Friday and Saturday night. These niggas going out Monday to Friday is the titty bar. And I'm talking about the full service titty bar. Like, they got some car washes and it's just I'm talking about the straight drop through. Everything is, you getting waxed and buffed. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a boom boom room. And the shit is full service. You can get everything, you know what I mean, at the spot. Chicken wings all the way down to yoni eggs. It's all there. You know what I mean? Like, everything goes. I'm just saying, the majority of the strip clubs are prostitution houses. They're fucking whorehouses. Niggas is skeeting. They ain't just it's just not no booty shaking going on alone. Niggas is, having sex in there. So how would I know how to approach a goddess, a queen, a real woman? Like, how can I compete with the other men that are out here who apparently, I don't know where they're getting their sex ed from, but maybe they're coming to, you know what I mean? Maybe they're coming differently in their approach. Even though, from my observation, it seems like everyone, the young Indian guys, the young Asian dudes, the white dudes, like, they're all mismanaged masculine energy. Like, they don't know how to, and the black and the women as well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, where can we find an outlet to give us a healthy form of sexual education?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think, I think to say to look within is just not fair, because, like you said, even a sophisticated savage doesn't know what someone means by look within. You know what you praise. You know what you like. Even when society is throwing all this stuff at you, when it's you and that person opposite you in the bedroom, none of that matters. If what you need and want isn't being provided, I would say for me, I think it just goes back to listening. Really listening, and it's hard to truly listen with all the noise, because even when you look at how does a young man approach a woman, I remember being a little girl, and you have the hustlers, you have the street guys, you had every type of guy, the nerd, whatever, and I used to be so confused when it would be 2, 3, 4 girls in the street arguing, maybe even fighting over one guy. This one guy. And as a little girl, you're looking, this don't make sense. The old people around you, are they dumb? they fighting over him, woo, woo, woo. And as you get older, you're like, yeah, I would want 4 girls fight over one guy. Then you realize that one guy knew how to fuck. You know what I mean? The one guy knew how to listen, and that's why 4 women would fight over the one guy who really didn't have anything to offer but sex. And if you engage those type of guys in conversation with some people may call them ladies, men, players, whatever, a lot of them, even if they were only listening with the intention of having sex with you and there was really nothing genuine about it, they still knew the art of listening. And I think that has just gotten so lost. Like when you get, in front of that one person, just listen. I don't approach men, and so I don't know how men feel when they approach women, but sometimes when men approach you, a lot of times they are not listening. They are not paying attention to. She didn't make any eye contact with me. She just told me 2 different lies at one time just to get me out of her face. It's like they're just like, hey, I'm coming to beat it up, No one is listening, not even women, because even in men, a lot of times, men will tell you they're on bullshit, but we're not listening to that. We don't hear that because we hear his face, his smile, his outfit. So nobody's listening. I think that's one of the biggest things. Knowing what you want in spite of what everybody else is telling you need. And that would take looking within and then listening to the person standing in front of you.
Definitely some very well-made points tonight, man. I know the sis got to get up for work in the morning. Don't want to hold you too long. I definitely appreciate the conversation tonight. I guess to leave with, if there's one piece of advice both of you could give to man or woman, what would it be? Starting with Red Pill. What's that? Even if it's advice that you're not even following right now, that you done missed the mark on, it don't matter, but just something that you think that will help men or will help women. Red.
Continue to have honest conversations. Continue to be transparent in, not only your pain, but also your pleasure, what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled, what makes you satisfied. Be honest about it. It doesn't help to not be honest about it, because you won't benefit from not being, honest about that. And I do think that brothers, especially, we should initiate more of these conversations on a group level, as a collective, of course, with maturity being the foundation of why we're coming forward to do this, what I'm saying? Not to get some pussy, what I'm saying? Like, not to use this as another, Harvey Weinstein, recruiting session, but to heal. You understand? To heal, not just not to think about self, but also to heal, to hopefully do it for the collective. You know what I mean? Like hoping that maybe something that you may say, or like the sister said, it's about listening. So, when you're listening and you might hear something that can help you, you know what I mean? Knowing that you're having these conversations for the purpose to help people heal. And, moving forward from that point, you know what I'm saying? But I think conversation needs to take place. We've been doing a lot of, pardon my French, we've been doing a lot of fucking and sucking and all kind of other things as a people, as a generation, as a society. And from the looks of things, it's not necessarily healing. It's not necessarily bringing forth the kind of blissfulness that has been promised through the act of sex. It has a damaging principle to it because of the misappropriation of sexual energy, and because of rape culture, and because of the fact that we are in a backwards culture. And all of my creatives out there, do your best to help. You know what I mean? Put forth pieces of, create some things that can help balance this imbalance. It's a lot of perversion out there. It's a lot of, like she said, seems like we're just going lower and lower and lower and lower. And I think that there needs to be a demonstration to help reverse that. Like we need more movies like Love Jones. What happened to that? What happened to the Black love story? We remember that was our teaching tool. That was also our education tool. We didn't have to go to some of the more profane things if we were being taught at that level some of the gems that we needed. But people go searching, and you go into that motherfucking dark room, and you might not come out of it. So be careful where you search, because the dark web, this child pornography shit, all of this bestiality, all of this sick things are sucking people in. People are under influence. Niggas is on fentanyl and heroin and opiates and, pills and shit. And they're going on sexual expeditions. It's not good. Women out there. I had a brother write me the other day who was a security guard in the strip club. The horror stories, I could go on for days. You understand? Women being on pills, dope, a drunk, scared to go home. People are out there lurking, waiting for them, sitting at the bus stop because they didn't have money. They only made house fees. All of these crazy things. I'm not a proponent of seeing how people suffer like that. So that's what I would say.
Well said. Anything you would say, sis, to the men and women out there listening?
I just, speak to my ladies. Definitely, get to a point where we can hold ourselves accountable, because we don't like being criticized, especially not by the men we're dealing with. But get to that point to be better. Don't always do so much talking. Try to listen. Always be trying to raise yourself, because even, how this whole conversation started with black women searching homosexual porn more than any other type of porn. That speaks to how low our frequencies are. You know what I mean? So always be trying to raise those frequencies and be looking for something that's, that can truly fulfill you, because that's not fulfilling at all. So just always be trying to raise yourself. And, you fall, but, just always wake up, after you listen to or watch something crazy on Instagram, hop on YouTube and watch these videos and be inspired to be a better person for yourself, So that's pretty much it. Listen and always try to raise yourself.
Indeed. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching, listening. We're going to have more adult content on the Patreon channel, things that is definitely going to benefit us moving forward. This is Brother Rich. I want to thank my two guests on the line today. Red Pill, give them your, because you just set up your Patreon and you got a app and all that. Could you tell the people about all that, Red, real quick?
Yeah, Patreon /Red Pillar, PILLAR. Check it out. We're gonna have some stuff up there as well, PDFs, some never seen before footage, as well as new content. And check it out. For those of y'all out there that respect what's being done and want to see the work improve, become a Patreon. Love and light. Respected people, and look out for more of these Patreon uploads, like Rich said. Cursing like a motherfucker. All fucking
all right. We out of here.
All right,
Peace.
Came from the Nile Valley. It's bittersweet, I smile sadly. Truth rarely seen like child's daddies. I'm in Hotep, I style flashy. Regarded highly, I'm Selassie. As time is passing, tribes are clashing. I know the ledge, I grow my dreads. My queen's two open legs have golden eggs, I'm hatched. 9 months had to hold my breath. Now I dream so heavy that I broke the bed. Provoke the feds that slaughter the sons. 12 get the 4-5 like a quarter to 1. The war has begun. Latin for sun, the soul and melanites get more of the sun. We the fortunate one. Got the God in the womb and the Lord in my come, and no more means love. Death is the source that I'm from. Everything that they do, we have already done. Self-taught, my ice a melt salt. Mine high price, I write and sell thought. I felt cloth, Akhenaten, cotton shopping, aquaponic, chronic options. Botanizing pot concoction. Earth a thought, her twat is rotten. Knowledge of my art forgotten. Watch the conscious sovereign doctrine. Not dishonest prophet goblins. Boxing out the box, I'm boxed in. Black magic, black yoni, black phallus. How they turn kings and queens to crack addicts. How they make us lose our sight like bad glasses. They know we invented original mathematics. Black magic, treat home like at Sabbath. I can hear beautiful music and bad static. I attract cash and bags like that's Magnus. Last maverick, blast fast like Zab Jab. Black magic, black yoni, black